What's up everybody and welcome to another edition of AGR's Pop Culture Reviews. Well, as you guys all know, Suicide Squad 2, or the sequel to the original Suicide Squad, has officially been announced, and it looks like the film is going to be arriving sometime in 2021. Now, I know there was a lot of controversy with the initial film, and it was founded in something. It didn't just jump out of the ether. A lot of it had to do with the bad writing, the uneasiness of the script overall, the tone of the film, most importantly the characterizations, and of course, yes, the glaring plot holes. Now, for those of you who really enjoyed the film, before you get all butthurt and blow up the comments section, I don't think the original Suicide Squad was a complete train wreck. It did have some good elements to it. I did like Margot Robbie and several other aspects, and it does make me hopeful for the second film. So let's just see what happens. Now, regardless of what side you are on the film, whether you liked it or hated it, you have to admit that you gotta be glad that DC is expanding their palette in terms of their characters, and some of these more obscure characters are finally getting love on the big screen, and that's always a good thing. Now let me start by saying that getting this piece into this studio was quite the odyssey because it was delayed so many times. So today we're going to be reviewing Yamato USA's DC Comics Collection version of Katana, part of the Fantasy Figure Gallery statues. Let's take a closer look. Now, we've reviewed a couple of these offerings from Yamato USA, especially the fantasy line, and they are spectacular. This one does not disappoint. This version of Katana is beautiful to look at, guys. The head sculpt here is magnificent. The countenance in the face is beautiful. I love the way they applied the makeup. I also like the fact she's slightly tilting her head. The hair sculpt is awesome. I love that jet black look, and her eyes really stand out. Those nice brown eyes are peering at you. Guys, this just is a beautiful head sculpt. I love what they did here. The midsection of this piece really complements the head sculpt. This statue just screams elegance and grace. Now, if you'll notice, there are so many things going on here in terms of the color palette and the textures. The armor set in particular looks really well done, especially the dry brush technique and the shadowing. It really looks like it's actual metal. It's just awesome, guys. Especially the red sash, it really is a focal point, and definitely the gauntlets. Everything is just done so well and so neat, and I have to admit, no QC problems here. The textures are done very well. The thing about this piece is the subtle details. I have so many statues of Katana where she's masked that it's refreshing to have one in my collection where she's actually holding it in her hands. It's very well done here, nicely sculpted. I love the offset of the colors as well, and that nice red sun in the middle looks fantastic. It's completely removable too. It's not attached to her hand. You can remove it if you want to, which is again something that is a really nice detail here. Of course, this character would be nothing without her signature weapon, the katana, and this one is brilliantly recreated. I love what they did here. The length is particularly nice. It is almost the entire length of the statue, and there is so much detail here. I love the wash on it. Most importantly, the hilt is very detailed, especially the blade. I love that gunmetal finish. Overall, it's so nice. Now for me, this is probably the coolest aspect of this piece. It's definitely in the lower section, for several reasons. First of all, the wonderful color palette, that red offset against the black, and the gunmetal looks fantastic. But most importantly, look at the sculpt on the armor on her shin guards. They're actually attached through straps, and I thought that is such a unique thing about this statue. But here's the really cool thing. Just take a look at her lower foot. It's slightly off the base, which is magnificent. It makes her seem like she's like this nimble cat. Now, of course, for obvious reasons, you're definitely going to want to mirror this piece because there's a lot of detail on the reverse side. Let's start with the hair. It is so well sculpted, and you get a greater appreciation for each individual hair strand, which is really nice. And then, of course, you have the actual sheath for the katana, which looks amazing. I have to say, for being on the opposite side, it's very detailed. Now, most importantly, you have this wonderful fan service. I think this is the best I've seen on a katana statue. It just looks amazing. You get a greater sense of the way she attaches to the base and the way she's got her leg offset. It's really awesome. Mirror this one, guys. Now, the base itself here is another remarkable aspect of this piece. Now, of course, generally, I don't like big bases, mostly because I need space. But I'll make an exception for this one because it really fits this character. I love the concrete and the exposed rebarb. I mean, it just looks so organic and so real, guys. The jagged edges on either side of the base look like they've been cut by the actual katana. And of course, you have that wonderful color palette with the red Japanese lettering. There's a nice wash on it that makes it look gritty and grimy. This is just a spectacular base. Now, as with most Yamato USA statues, you also get a lithograph, which is some kind of prominence, a certificate of authenticity. It does read the name of the character, Katana. It also has some background information, which looks really nice. The name of the sculpture, which is Louis Royal, and you also get the Warner Brothers logo and the DC logo, and of course Yamato USA. It's nice to have these things, and again, if you put it in a plaque, it's going to look really nice. On top of that, you get an additional layer of prominence, which is really cool. You do get a small metal plaque which is finished in gold. It does read Fantasy Figure Gallery, the name of the character Katana, and most importantly, this one is actually numbered, just like the lithograph, minus 215 of 1000. So it's just nice to have these additional layers of prominence. It makes this a much more high-end collectible. Guys, for obvious reasons, this is an instant holy grail piece, and even despite the delays, people kept their pre-orders and this sold out almost immediately. So you're gonna have to go to the secondary market, guys, but if you can find one that's relatively priced, definitely pick it up. If you're a DC fan, Katana fan, if you love the Suicide Squad, this is something you definitely want in your collection. Now, before I go, I just want to thank F&B Collectibles Incorporated for sponsoring today's review, and Sideshow Collectibles not only for constant updates on when this product was going to be released, but definitely for sending this piece over for review. Alright everybody, so that's my official review on Yamato USA DC Comics Collection version of Katana, part of the Fantasy Figure Gallery statues. As always, I thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next AGR's Pop Culture Reviews.